All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on a really unique way to get a U.S. green card, the EB-5 Immigrant Investor Program. We're going to break down exactly how making a significant investment can actually open the door to permanent residency.
So, let's start with the big question. Can you really get a green card just by investing in the U.S. economy? And the answer is, yeah, you can. But it's not as simple as just writing a check. It's a very structured process with some pretty specific rules, and that's exactly what we're going to unpack today. But before we get bogged down in the how-to, let's talk about the destination. The real prize here, the ultimate goal of this whole program, isn't just some temporary visa. We're talking about permanent U.S. residency and all the incredible benefits that come along with it. And this is really what that freedom looks like. See, a green card through the EB-5 program isn't tied to a specific company or job. It means you, your spouse, and your kids under 21 can literally live anywhere you want in the country. You can work for anyone or, start your own business. It opens up doors to amazing schools and healthcare. And yeah, it eventually puts you on the path to becoming a U.S. citizen. This is the why. This is what makes the whole journey worth it.
So what is this EB-5 program, officially? Well, at its heart, it's a pretty straightforward idea that Congress came up with. Foreign investors bring their capital into the U.S. economy. That money has to create at least 10 full-time jobs for American workers. And in return for that job creation, the investor and their immediate family can get their green cards.
So let's talk about the engine that drives this whole thing, the investment itself. This part is all about the money, for sure. But it's also about that absolute must-have of creating jobs. Think of the investment as the actual vehicle that's going to get you to your goal. Now, there are basically two different levels of investment, and it all boils down to where the project is located. If you invest in something called a targeted employment area, which is a fancy way of saying a rural area or a place with really high unemployment, the amount you need to invest is actually lower. For projects pretty much anywhere else, you're looking at the higher standard amount. The whole idea is to encourage investment in the places that need it the most.
And let's be super clear about this. It is not just about the money. Every single EB-5 investment, no exceptions, has to create at least 10 full-time jobs for American workers. This is an absolute cornerstone of the program. It's non-negotiable, and it's one of the biggest factors for getting your application approved. So, as an investor, you have two main ways you can go about this. You can do a direct investment, which is where you start your own business or buy one, and you're actively involved in running the show. Or you can do what's called a pooled investment through something called a regional center. With that option, your money gets pooled with other investors into a much larger project, like a big hotel or an infrastructure project, and you have zero day-to-day management duties.
And this really explains why the vast majority of investors, we're talking over 90%, go with a regional center. I mean, first off, you got professional management, so you don't have to worry about the day-to-day grind. But the real kicker is how the jobs are counted. Regional centers get to count not just the direct employees of the project, but also all the indirect jobs it creates in the community. Like suppliers, construction workers, service providers. That makes hitting that magic number of 10 jobs way, way more predictable. Okay, so you've figured out your investment path. What's next? Let's walk through the actual application process. It's definitely a multi-step journey, but when you lay it out like a roadmap, you'll see it becomes a lot less intimidating.
Now, before we even look at step one, we have to talk about this. Proving that your investment money was obtained legally is, I'm not kidding, probably the most important part of the entire application. You have to provide a crystal clear paper trail that traces every single dollar from where it came from all the way to the U.S. project.
So what kind of sources are we talking about? Well, it could be your salary, profits from a business you own, money you got from selling property, even a properly documented gift, an inheritance, or certain types of loans can work. The key thing to remember isn't just what the source is, but having all the paperwork to back it up and prove it's all legitimate.
Okay, here's the entire roadmap in 5 basic steps. Step 1, you pick a project and send the money. Step 2, your lawyer files the big petition with all your documents. Step 3, once that's approved, you and your family get a 2-year conditional green card. Step 4, during those 2 years, the project has to create those 10 jobs. And finally, step 5, you file another petition to remove the conditions, prove the jobs were created, and boom, you get your permanent 10-year green card.
All right, now any big journey is going to have some potential hazards, right? So it's really important that we're realistic about the risks involved here. Think of this next part as our necessary travel advisory for anyone even thinking about the EB-5 program. So it's absolutely essential to understand that this is a real investment. The law actually requires your money to be at risk, which is a legal way of saying there is no guarantee you'll get it back. Projects can get delayed, immigration laws can change, and depending on where you were born, you could be looking at some very long visa backlogs. Just knowing these things exist is the first step to navigating them. And that is exactly why getting professional help is so critical. Trying to navigate immigration law, finance, and business development all at once, it's just incredibly complex. A good team of attorneys and consultants can help you dodge those common mistakes and make sure you're ticking all the boxes that the program requires. But after you've navigated the whole process, after you've removed those conditions, you finally reach the destination. And that's an unrestricted, permanent green card. You're free. Free to live wherever you want, work for whoever you want, or build a new life for your family completely on your own terms, without any immigration strings attached. So, at the end of the day, the EB-5 program is a clearly defined legal path to incredible opportunity here in the United States. But it demands a huge commitment of money, of time, and definitely of patience. So, the real question you have to ask yourself isn't just, can this be done? It's, is this the right path for me?